Are you not sure how to pull and read your credit report? Well, stay tuned because in this video, I'm going to show you how you can pull your credit report, make sense of it, and be better prepared to improve your credit. For weekly tips that will help you reduce stress around money and reach your financial goals, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified every time I release a new video. This is the exact starting point that I used before I paid off my debt, which was more than $200,000. So now it's your turn. One of the most important reasons that I encourage you to pull your credit report is so that you can take a look and make sure that there aren't any mistakes. Sometimes you might find information that doesn't belong on your credit report. It could be accidental or it could be fraud, but you've got to be looking so that you're aware of it and know how to handle that. So let's talk about what it is and where you can get it. There's 3 different credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. All 3 of those, you are entitled to pull 1 credit report per year. One way that you can do that is to pull all 3 of them at one time, and then you've got it for the year. Another way you can do it, however, is to pull 1 from each of the bureaus every 4 months. I like to do this because then you get an ongoing look at your credit report throughout the entire year. If you go to annualcreditreport.com, that is the free website where you can go and get a copy of one of your 3 credit reports, or you can get all 3 if you'd like. You can also use creditkarma.com, which I'm a big fan of them because they not only give you a slightly different look at what's on your credit report, but they do also give you a score, which I'll talk about in another video next week. But if you want to get a copy of a credit report, I would start at annualcreditreport.com, and I'll have links to both of those in the description below. So once you get a copy of your credit report, the first thing you're going to see right up front is going to be your personal information. This is going to be your current name, any past names that you've had, and then you're also going to find your date of birth, past addresses that you've lived at, the current address where you live, and then also employer information. Sometimes the employer information only shows one, which is your current employer, and sometimes you'll see a whole history of employers that you've worked for long ago in the past. If you don't work at one of the employers listed, but it's still there, that's okay. You don't have to worry about that. You can just leave that alone. The next thing that you're going to see, or not, hopefully, is any negative items that are on your credit report. And when I say the first thing that you'll see, it's because these things show up front and center. So the first couple things that you might see will be any judgments. So if you've been sued, if you had a bankruptcy or a foreclosure, those are the type of things, tax liens as well, that are going to show up right at the top of the credit report if you have those. Something that's also important to note is that negative information can stay on your credit report for 7 years. And that's 7 years from the date that it ended. So if you had a bankruptcy and it lasted until a certain date when it was final, it will be 7 years from that date that will finally come off of your credit report. Before we go any farther, I would love to hear from you. Have you pulled a credit report in the past year? I'm curious if you've pulled one recently and you're trying to make sense of it, or if you haven't done it yet and you're ready to do it now. Comment below and tell me. Okay, next on your credit report, you're going to see all of the accounts that you have. So you're going to see accounts that are open and you're going to see accounts that are closed. And there's a few important things that you want to make sure to take a look at. So first of all, when you do have an account that is open, it should be showing whatever your payment history is. So for example, if you have a car loan that's open, it should show that it's reporting that you're making your payments on time. If you have not made your payments on time, you're going to see little flags or little indicators noting if your payment was 30 days late, 60 days, 90 days, or even 120 days late. Those again start to become negative comments that are factored into your credit report. But if you've had some hiccups where you had a late payment and then you've caught up and started making your payments on time, that's something that lenders will look at when they evaluate your credit report. If they're not just looking at your score and they're looking at your report, they can see maybe you had something happen a long time ago, but now you've recovered from that. Another thing that you are going to see on your accounts is there will be a section that's called comments, and that can be comments that are made by you or comments that have been made by the lender. And so one example of that would be if you had a credit account with a store, let's say it's a retail store and you have a credit card with them, but you haven't used it in 7 years, they may go ahead and close that account because it's inactive, and it will show on your credit report that it was closed by the lender. So that just kind of helps a little bit, because sometimes on your score, you can be impacted by whether or not you've closed your credit accounts. Your score can be impacted. So it does make a slight difference if the credit account was closed by you or if it was closed by the lender. So now we're on to the last section of your credit report, which is inquiries. And an inquiry means that someone has taken a look into your credit report. There's 2 different types of inquiries. One of them is a hard inquiry and the other is a soft inquiry. Only the hard inquiries can count against you in your credit report. This information stays on the credit report for 2 years. A hard inquiry is when you have asked someone to pull your credit in order to either loan you money or extend some sort of an offer to you. One example is Verizon. If you go in and open a new account with Verizon and get a new phone, they will actually pull your credit and it shows up as an inquiry. Now, a soft inquiry is something that you have no control over. This is something, for example, if you have a credit card already, and let's just pick a bank and say it's with Bank of America. If Bank of America already has a credit account with you, they might periodically look into your credit report just to check and see what's going on. If they start to see that you've opened up 10 new credit accounts, they may make changes to your credit with them based on that. A lot of times there's no change. They just go in and periodically take a look at your credit report, but that does not count against you and your score at all. Okay, so now that you've pulled your credit report and can make total sense of it, I've got a freebie for you where you can list out all of your debts so that you can start to tackle them. There's a link below in the comments where you can find the debt list freebie, and I hope you'll download that and get started on your debt-free journey today. All right, I hope that you have found this helpful. If you have any further questions, please put them in the comments below. I would be happy to answer any questions there as well. I also have another video that I'm going to put right here you can look at, and it is all about how balance transfers are not the way to get out of debt. So take a look at that video, and again, comment below if you have any questions for me. Take care, have a good day.